Yemeti Funina Akwaba Sonko Edoba daily update so Hana Babenya trending news at Ecoso Ghana Menina and any day can by need a so subscribe to our channel and nothing so Arjun Chibia bit me about comment session or you need it my G pathing so a man for down for some beatrice. Samian goes to a major a Kwesi Pratt and Simbi edify tribal politics. Nana Okase, a priest be a move Muslim for be and then go ash, mock ash. Other be ash, a confocal burra on the other. Now, Opia was over by no becca a Muslim Christian for a boom, no omnian and a boom de. The baby causes a crampanga about Bonson making, and when I equity practically. Oh no, or campaign message be brave. Nti ɔno nyini sɛ obetumi afɔfɛre saa campaign message na ɔde aba abɔnten no ɔno deɛ onim ane sɛ ɔretrɛke ɛyɛ delegate ɛne Ghanafoɔ sɛnea ɛbɛyɛ ɔmɛtumi atɔ ama no ɔmotɔ ama no asa because ebisa ne sɛ ɛde ntina bɛyɛ ɔpɛ sɛ ɔyɛ president a asa na ɔka ne sɛ ɔpɛ sɛ ɔno wayɛ ne own boss ɛwɔ Jubilee House na afei nso like ɔyɛ flag bearer for ɛyɛ NPP na ɔbɛyɛ president of Ghana. Then so ɔmo aba wie deɛ sɛ wɔanya campaign message bebree ba abɔnten you say deɛ obi abɛfa biara it is possible sɛ menkote ɛyɛ Kwesi Pratt nsi me biara bɛgutu dwa a wakrahye ɛyɛ Bawumia so me so yɛnkote no.
He has said very clearly that he's opposed to corruption within his own party and has described corruption in his own party in details, including his claim that even party members who want to be enlisted in the armed forces and the police service and so on have to pay bribes. You understand? Now he, like Donald Trump, has said that he needs a mandate to clear the swamp, to give the new patriotic party a new image. He has said that party cadres have not been looked after properly, and that if he is elected, he will create the mechanism for looking after the interests of party foot soldiers and so on. He's saying something. I heard him and I couldn't believe it because I've not known him like that. And he's saying that under his presidency, the resources of Ghana ought to be exploited. He has compared himself to an assistant headmaster of a school. Says, now make me the headmaster so that I'll be able to do things my own way. And I said many things to that effect. Well, he is in the government. He knows. And in fact, what he's been saying has been confirmed by many of those who are saying that we should vote for him. And I'll come to that later. You understand? I'm going to come to that later. But Alhaji Bawumia, Alhaji Bawumia is a very, very interesting candidate, aspirant. Alhaji Bawumia is busily telling us that as for him, he's a devout Muslim. And that one of his missions is that if elected, he will unite the Christian and Muslim community in Ghana so that we can walk hand in hand into prosperity. Wow, what a vision. So what is he going to do with the traditional believers, the Jews and so on? Okay, maybe they belong to the dominant faith and so on. But it is the accounts who say that the size of the market are being killed. The man whose campaign is based on religion and so on has not found time to utter one word about the destruction of religious homes and institutions in the Middle East. That's how religious he is. That's how committed he is to religion and so on. Why? This morning, I saw videos on Press TV of churches being destroyed priests being killed and so on. Yesterday, I saw videos of mosques being destroyed and so on. The whole world, everybody is talking. Mass demonstrations in Europe, in North America and so on. Our vice president, whose campaign is hinged on religion, my goodness, has not said one word about what is happening in the Middle East. And I'm wondering, what is happening? What kind of a planque is this? And a planque without any commitment? Most of their planques, they have commitment too. If you board the trotro and you see their planques at work, they have a serious commitment. But this planque has no commitment at all. He doesn't want to talk so that he will offend anybody. All he wants is to trick people to give him their votes. What an aplanque. Then there is this suggestion that Northerners have not enjoyed the presidency and that it is time for us to vote for a Northerner. But my goodness, is that true? Why? His boss, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, replaced His Excellency John Dramani Mahama as president. John Dramani Mahama, where does he come from? Is he not a Northerner?
He's from Southern Burkina Faso.
So this whole idea that Northerners have never had a chance and so on, it's bunkum. Why? Former President Hilary Liman, where did he come from? So it is not true that Northerners have not had a chance of leading this country. Indeed, I'm surprised that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia makes this one of the pillars of his campaign. Because at the time that they were fighting against His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, people in his party were saying that Northerners are not deserving of leadership. The people who were around you campaigning for you, so were saying that Northerners are not deserving of leadership. In fact, one of them went as far as to suggest that this Kwame Nkrumah Mampa, he has caused too many problems for us. And that if Kwame Nkrumah had not come up with the concept of free education, people like John Mahama and so on will be following cattle in the north. What did he say? When his supporters were saying that as for Northerners, their role is to follow cattle. What did he say? Didn't he hear? Was he deaf? Was he dumb? The same person today comes around and says, look, he's campaigning on the ticket, he's a Northerner and so on. When in his camp, all kinds of derogatory statements were being made about Northerners and so on, he was happy. He took part in a vigorous campaign to remove a Northerner so that Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo could become president. Nana Akufo-Addo, does he come from Tripoli? Or he comes from Gambaga? Or where? Wali Wali? No. He was happy to remove a Northerner from power. I am so disgusted. Like my brother Apia Dankwa, that this country has come to the level where today, in the contest for power, region and tribe has become prominent in the campaign. And I'm so very disgusted, because that is not how we were brought up. We were brought up under the leadership of that visionary African leader of South Africa, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. We went to the Ghana Educational Trust schools. And in those schools, your tribe did not matter. The person who slept under your bed could come from a different region, didn't matter, and so on. That is the culture we grew up with. All of a sudden, people like Alhaji Timothy Bawumia. You said Christopher. You didn't say Christopher.
Christopher is the latest
Okay.
Closer to Christ.
All of a sudden, have exacerbated tribal and regional tensions in our country, and I'm frightened by it. You understand? Now, the best campaign message for Alhaji Mahmood Bawumia was published yesterday. And I don't know how many of you have read it. But yesterday, somebody who describes himself as a bosom friend of Alhaji Bawumia put out a statement about why voters today.
Uncle Kesi, how are they going to use it? He should tell us.
He has pulled out. Indeed, he issued a statement explaining why he has pulled out. And one of the reasons why he had pulled out was that he did not want to be part of a charade. And he did not want to be part of an activity laden with physical violence, psychological violence, and other forms of violence. Now, that says a lot about the journey to today. I was shocked when one of the polling agents of Mr. Lancha Martin showed his face. And I was wondering, I mean, the first time I saw a video of his face, I was wondering whether he'd been involved in a horrific accident. I mean, what had happened to his face? He had been beaten, properly beaten, given raw beatings for insisting that the rules made by the party are observed in that primary. Then I heard the testimony of a woman, middle-aged, beautiful woman, who told her story. And after listening to her story, I said to myself that indeed Ghana has a super athlete for the next Olympic Games. This woman ran and ran. And I'm sure that if we're recording her, Magic Johnson would not have equaled her record. She ran full speed because she was being pursued by thugs who wanted to teach her a lesson. At a certain stage, her feet were not enough to carry her. So she had to jump on a motorbike and finally went and hid herself in a hotel room. And there were many such stories, such interesting and horrific stories. Like Ajia, I pray that today should be different from that day. I pray that we no longer get super athletes from this primary. I pray that everything goes well and nobody loses an eye. I've listened to my three other colleagues, and it is clear that all things being this evening, Dr. Is it Michael or Timothy? Bartholomew. Whatever it is, Bartholomew, Michael, or Timothy, Alhaji Dr. Mahmood Bawumia will be crowned as the presidential candidate of the New Patriotic Party today. But you see, those who are going to be doing the voting ought to understand that this is only one of the many steps that they are taking in the selection ultimately of a presidential candidate and eventually the selection of a president for the Republic of Ghana. Whoever they elect today would have huge responsibilities. He will be the number one defender of the Constitution, the enforcer of the Constitution. Number one. Whoever they elect today, if is elected as president of Ghana, will be appointing ministers who will be responsible for the construction of our roads.
Pratt and a year MP for Saglu, and so a casafa say a yes, omu voti Emma Bawumia, and no aqua say, omu give you a year MVP, a year 3rd time say omundi Ghana mine. So now so a year more crimes, ni omu terrible things are omaya etia Ghana for no, person omu cover up. Sene be another cover soon. And when as I MP person me biano, person me na de sa ni pakrom a flabber and no piano in the snake me cover or terrible things. It does a Bawumia, it does a Kenya, it does any 4 aspirant in a piano, or cover up in it. And saying about the local Bible to know, or can say, or more you sense and cat, I say, in case says a Lucio, or renew, free party. And no cry, say, BB, so me could see a MP.
And when I said, if you don't know death, look at sleep, it's happened before. You know, Honorable Dr. ßrēaking Be, who was the chairman of the Finance Committee of Parliament in the last Parliament. He was deemed to be an establishment man, and they loaded monies and went and got him rid of him in the MPP primaries. But this was one of the most competent MPP people in Parliament who did a lot of work with them in their Finance Committee. In spite of all the donkey work he did, they asked him, because they saw him not to be a poor Akufo-Addo man. Let alone to this time when they are out to coronate Dr. Bawumia, and you stand up against them. If they can find feathers to pluck from a tortoise, what will they do when they get a fowl? So this one will be very clear. So even members of Parliament are petrified. Sana, delegates, I'm sure they should. What happened in the super delegates thing when the shadow boss and gave some people swollen mouths and cheeks and all those things from Honorable Alanchiramanting's people. It was to send a signal that if you dare say that you want to deviate from what the establishment wants and have decided, they will teach you a lesson. So that brutal lesson has actually sunk in, and many people are petrified. And let somebody not tell me that, oh, it's a free ballot. What somebody goes to do there, you don't know. It's not with the MPP. You know what they do, and they tried to practice this in Parliament before. When you go and you are going to vote, you are in a queue. You are going to vote. You will make it in such a way that the next person who is behind him will see what he's voting for. So that they are using that trick to ensure that they whip everybody in line. So it's not a free vote. So that's why I'm just saying that what is happening today is a charade. It's just there to go and coronate Dr. Bawumia. So it's very clear. And to most political observers, a vote for Dr. Bawumia is a third term for the hopelessly uninspiring and disastrous government of Nana Akufo-Addo. We are giving him a third term because it is the system that is parading to bring Bawumia to come and watch their back for all the crimes and terrible things they've committed against the good people of this country. They are looking for somebody to watch their back, and it's the most convenient tool who will be used to watch their back. And so, Senna, wait, you vindicate me. I'll be surprised if all the others put together can get 15 or 20%. I have my grave doubts. I would have loved to be proven wrong to see that people are courageous enough to go beyond what they are saying. But I can tell you, at the end of the day, you will vindicate my statement. It will not. So there are fundamental questions. And you even see the attempt to, I have never seen it in our democratic parlance, where before an election, you go and bring a piece of paper and write down. Nobody has a right to leave the party. Nobody has a right not to pledge his support to the one who eventually will win.
This is Sammy when you're drinking a year. Kwesi Pratt crash a year Bawumia so now friends so I defa voting a course so and no that's an no say December bre abekugu ana no she pa say omu voting ma any of the aspirant company because omu meet my cover up. I was criminalities in terrible things no my idea I Ghana mine. Oh any Bawumia because omu ma can fear kotone omu ma can say it's criminals near the attendee. Nisa interesting room. Nisa someone you bit me about comment section or nothing so who are we are bit me about now that my comment section nothing so subscribers or subscribe my nothing so bit my share more than for so any biashing. You know we be as over a daily update to BT.